All right. A very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for gracing this particular panel. And for the next 60 minutes, I'll be the sole person responsible for boring all of you. So please bear with me. But thank you so much. And a quick round of introductions. Sir, if you would want to start from your end, please. Okay. 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 Interesting. Interesting. Great. Avinash.
My name is Avinash. I head e-commerce for a brand called Lacoste. It's a French fall-inspired lifestyle brand. It's been in India for about 30 years now. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Excellent. Thank you, Avinash. Yeah, Lacoste. Who in this room doesn't know Lacoste? Let's be fair. Ah, Djokovic. Excellent. Yes.
I had ag and business transformation in V-Mart. V-Mart is a mass manufacturing brand. There is on one side you guys have mass premium. We cater to, we call it needs of Bharat. Okay, so it's like we are very focused on what need-based buying. Okay, customer हमारे पास तभी आता है जब उसको कोई ज़रूरत होती है. So that ज़रूरत is something that we focus on, and very competitive price points. We pride ourselves with this fact that we have been able to deliver supreme quality at very low price points. In fact, our customers say $299 के अंदर इससे अच्छी टी-शर्ट मिल ही नहीं सकती. So this is a huge validation from the customer and pride for us all. Thank you.
Excellent.
Hi friends, so I'm Nilab Banerjee from Biryani Blues. I take care of the marketing, customer service and corporate sales there. So Biryani Blues, I'm sure most of you would have heard, especially if you're from Delhi NCR side. So we are a decade-old brand, the first brand in Delhi NCR, the biryani brand. So it's a very popular category as such. As per Swiggy data last year, every second 2 biryanis were ordered. So you can calculate the millions of biryanis sold, right? We ourselves sell about 2.5 million biryanis in a year. So it's a good, noble, happy profession, feeding people. And yeah, I'll just. So I think, yeah, so it's good fun, spreading this. So right from a regional north brand, we made it a national brand, and hopefully will also be international in the years to come. Okay, thank you.
Hello. Yeah. I'm Eshaan. I head digital marketing at Woodland, and as everybody on this table would know, it's a legacy brand. Every generation's probably won it. It doesn't get destroyed, so probably you had to pass it on. So we have been working around, of course, you know it, like 1992 we started off, and it was one of the first Indian brands to bring in adventure into the market by saying it's the most rugged and durable shoe out there in terms of footwear. But now our new focus is more towards moving to call it the urban explorer, right? The urban adventure that everybody's engrossed in. Particularly pertaining to the idea of anywhere and everywhere. You can wear the same shoe in the morning for a trail, wear the same shoe out to your office, and then in the evening go for a social gathering as well, right? So it's more versatile, it's now lightweight, and of course more dynamic designs are coming out to appeal to multi-generational and multiple age groups. So it's not only your father's brand, we're trying to make it a more youth-oriented brand as well.
Excellent. Right? So excellent. Thank you. Thank you to I think Woodland has always been my brand as well. Obviously, there have been some schools where I've gone to Adidas and I've gone to the likes of Nike, but Woodland is a very different genre altogether, if I may say so. I consider it to be like a off-roader luxury brand for me, if I have to say so.
Rugged and durable brand.
It's a very rugged and durable brand. So obviously we all have multiple pairs, but when it comes to Woodland, I think hardly anybody in my house, hasn't worn a Woodland. I think everybody has, in some form or the other.
Just to add, we are also, I think, in a particular survey about 3 years ago, we were one of the most masculine brands out there. We're India's #1 masculine brand. We have a market share of about 82% in only males itself.
Wow, this is in India or
This is in India itself.
Excellent. But are you kind of planning to focus on the
We
feminine
are.
side of it also?
The appeal of it does come
Okay.
to females, but of course the general perception is still when you walk into a Woodland store, you're planning, your thought is, okay, fine, I'm going to be going to a more rugged place, so I think let's just check out the store, right?
Correct.
But yes, the problem that we're actually trying to solve is better product discovery, so that when you enter the store, you get more
Relatability with the
correct.
the merchandise that you're displaying.
Another problem that we do face, which even on the online side, was we have 250,000 SKUs when you look at color variant side. So product discovery as such is that, okay, fine, there is a style which we call as the classic 2168 that has been running since the past 28 years.
Correct.
And still in tier 2 cities, people will buy that shoe repeatedly. We get demand कि सर मेरा size नहीं मिल रहा.
True.
वो पिछले 5 मतलब उसका 5th pair भी वही same shoe है. So he asks and demands for the same shoe. But when we bring him to a store or when we bring him to a website for a D2C sale, that's when we want him to open his eyes and say, okay, fine, we're doing a casual shoe, we're doing a casual shoe, canvas shoe. We are also making these, what do you call, comfort shoes, which are now semi-casual. So you'll have a leather top or a leather upper with a nice white sole, a synthetic sole to it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're getting there. Our reach is increasing, and the information and knowledge of our products is increasing.
Line of apparel also, I think this
Correct.
come up.
Absolutely.
So in the past 8 years back, we started apparel as well. That's when you're talking about t-shirts, jeans, cargos. In fact, we use one of the most high quality, which you also call V-Mart cotton. So at the price point, like I said, $299, probably at $899, we have one of the best quality cottons out there.
Supreme quality at a price point.
And again, the perception is it ain't going anywhere. You buy it, it won't tear, it won't lose color. So those are things that people really do go back.
But a higher quality, does it in any way help you with increase of your AOV in any way?
Over time, yes, I would say, because then when we are introducing, so it's a seasonal business.
True.
When you're moving from season to season, of course, we're launching something new, and every single time it's a newer design.
Absolutely.
So we try to look at, okay, fine. We go to solve the macro problem, we try to go into the micro of it.
Correct.
Right? Where we're trying to look at what color is being most preferred, because we'll have one t-shirt variant or style, like a round neck, will have 15 colors. And actually, you'll have 15 colors.
Okay.
And you'll stand there and you're like standing with your wife or your mother, you'll be like, "Kaun sa acha lag raha hai?" So you can confuse the customer. But then again, you're like, okay, now I'll start picking up a different design. And then to combine it all, we're also doing caps. We have other outdoor gear as well. We have cargo pants, we're doing socks, we're doing innerwears.
Correct.
So of course, you can build an entire, your wardrobe out of it. And it's
Absolutely.
But
convenient.
with the shoes being so durable, don't you think like the typical value seeker, the Indian customer, he'll think ये तो जूता मेरा फटेगा ही नहीं, तो उसको चलाए जाओ इसको 8-10 years. So you are hampering your own repeat buying happening.
That is why I asked it. Does it really impact your
How does
AOV?
that business? I know it's contradictory. So,
On this front, I think I'll speak that that's been the vision of the management ever since. It's just that it's not regardless of that, it's probably the cost they're paying for not compromising on quality at all. And the customer does, if I were to give you just a little bit of insight on it, our customer life cycle value, probably what he gives us in a year, is anywhere close to about 25K to 30K a year. Easily a person is able to give us.
Okay.
We don't lose a customer. Our customer repeats itself every 3 months. Now we're bringing that cycle down to 1.5 months by engaging our customer better.
Correct.
We've
In the
learned-
upper line would be maybe one of the strategies to give him a reason to come back to you more often.
So I don't know. Has anybody visited Manali or Shimla? Or
Yeah.
anybody?
I think we all have in some form,
I would really
sometime in our
recommend
life.
you, if now I'll put this in your heads, okay? Next time you go, just sit down on a chair and just look at the jackets that people are wearing. Just sit there.
Okay.
Out of every 10 people, 4 people will be wearing their Woodland.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
I can say that, as you said,
Even with your contemporary Avinash sitting over here.
No, I think
I know. I mean, for some apparels you might compete.
Which I think completely
yeah, their offerings are.
Okay. Okay. But do you compete with them on some merchandise like a T-shirt? Because obviously Lacoste, what we know is
it's completely different, completely different usage of our products, right? So we have
Okay.
one lifestyle and T-shirts, right? So as I was saying, the colors are confused. Just to borrow from somebody in my team who was saying that the first offering of solid polos, they're like the Asian paints of polos.
absolutely.
You know, the first polo,
Absolutely.
kaun sa color chahiye, just look through those colors and you go with it. That's where the forte of the person, that's what generally you're most known for.
Very true.
Like the solid polo. We call it L1, Q1, 2 to the history behind that. This is the old story brand, any brand. Right? Kind of different product offering.
I think the brand personas are also very different.
Very different.
Starkly different.
Absolutely.
They are possibly.
They're more rugged, because the elegant lifestyle.
They are rugged. They're elegant. There is a luxury and finesse and panache to it when people wear it. I think
It's French fashion.
It's French
right?
fashion.
That's more relaxed and leisurely fashion.
Correct. Correct. But particularly speaking with you, Siddharth, and even speaking with you, Rakesh, do you see discretionary spend in any way impacting the CLTV for your business? Because you are luxury, brands. Not everybody can afford
More like
a luxury
bridge
brand.
to luxury. Luxury would be too expensive for our price points.
Okay.
We're more like, so bridge to luxury is somewhere which is not really in the premium massy segment
Okay.
and not really in the high-end designer wear kind of segment.
Okay.
Bridge to luxury is a price point where you're not really catering to the middle class or the lower middle class. Your customers are majorly higher middle class or above.
Okay. But how do you decide your TG that this is the target group that I would want to go after?
In terms of Avishti, it's been on the basis of a lot of analysis.
Okay.
A lot of manual scraping. The last one that we had, similar one, was about this as well. And a lot of understanding in terms of demographics, and thank God there's no woman on the pack, the last one was scared, and a lot of stalking. So we usually stalk our customers on Instagram, look at their images, whatever they're writing,
Okay.
in terms of, and then build a persona around it, then test those theories through A/B testing, AABB testing on Facebook and Instagram,
Very
try to
good.
get into new audiences.
Okay.
The ones that we have, obviously, for those we've got tools to retarget them through emailers, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook.
How do you do this? If you could elaborate, how do you do this? As in,
The
you're
scraping
talking
one-
of A/B testing, you're talking of
So A/B
engagement.
testing is majorly our Instagram, Facebook, the Meta.
The
backend
Meta
that we-
platform. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, the attribution is a bit wonky because what happens is we run a certain WhatsApp campaign for a customer who's already been targeted through Facebook.
Okay.
But the attribution happens on both the ends. So suddenly it seems as if both the campaigns are performing pretty better. So even the figuring it out and breaking it down in the middle to understand which actually went where, that needs to be looked into. The end case thing in terms of having an access of Shopify and understanding which links actually brought us the sale.
Okay.
That is something really important. So we really drill it down. And once we have the kind of persona, so I'll give you an example. Marketplaces don't share the data.
Absolutely.
Right? So what we do is whenever there's a packing slip going out, we capture the packing slip data in the Excel.
Okay.
Out of that we get the pin codes. So then we do pin code based testing in terms of doing this thing, doing a 5 mile radius targeting in terms of geography and seeing whether that geography works with us or not.
Okay.
So then we figured out what all geographies work really well. Like Mumbai is our biggest market. Bandra West, Nepean Sea Road, Altamount Road.
Okay.
These places is where we get around 60% of our business.
Excellent.
In terms of the total business that we get from Mumbai.
Okay.
So we understood that the pin codes there. We've tried other pin codes as well, like Lokhandwala and other Navi Mumbai and all of these things. In Pune, certain pin codes work really well.
Okay.
In Delhi, we know for a fact, I'm a Delhi born and brought there, so I know the DLF pin code, the South Delhi pin code work really well.
Very true.
East Delhi doesn't work at all.
At all. Correct.
West Delhi started picking up now in terms of the kind of product, because the kind of products that we create, as you also rightly said, the design language is a lot more different.
It is so diverse in itself, this
Yeah.
union territory itself. I
Yeah.
can understand what you're saying. So, how do you leverage automation? What do you actually use to leverage this kind of an automation?
So in terms of targeting automation, you mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the targeting automation is majorly through the software that we have.
Okay.
So for WhatsApp, we've been using Business on Board, but we're getting in unrouted with a software called Ingati. So that's going to be a one-place thing for everything. Then we use Capture CRM for handling all the customer-related issues that is there.
Correct.
Besides that, there's Shopify and everything else that's run. Shopify has got multiple apps for emailers and all this marketing. But what we make it a point is to keep on looking at data, keep on consistently doing segmentation,
Bang on.
keep on revisiting that,
Bang on.
and seeing whenever this is a 3-day cycle that we do rather than doing a 7-day, because Facebook has a 7-day attribution window that
Correct.
we usually work with, but
Correct.
we internally do a 3-day cycle to keep on refining the data. We don't have a lot of money, so I put in a lot of
So
money.
you leverage technology.
Exactly. So that is what we do to get
Good.
as much data as we can. जहाँ तक छोटा मोटा भी मिलता है ना हम वो ले लेते हैं. और
No,
सबसे
no, that's
बात है,
important. That's very
I call
important.
up customers personally, and so we've got a thing where we know there's this term called thousand true fans.
Okay.
So once you bridge that thing, your product starts selling automatically.
Okay.
This is what Tesla also followed when they started with the cars. They made really bad cars, but once they had that thing, they sent their own customers to Sweden and places like these so that they could talk about the cars. And the customers did because
And the word of mouth speaks its volumes.
Exactly, and these customers were connected to the brand because they were soulfully believing that they're changing the world, they're doing the right thing by changing from fossil fuels to this thing.
Okay.
So building
Interesting.
that kind of a customer loyalty is something that is very essential for us.
Wow.
To get into that, so right now in terms of the 1,000 true fans that we want to do, we have 106 people, and we've been running a brand for a decade. But those 106 people, for a fact, we know that if you talk to them about the brand of Varshney, they would tell you that if you want something different in terms of ethnic wear, then we are the ones whom you should be looking at.
Thank you so much, Rakesh. I think this insight was very helpful. Siddharth, do you have a similar opinion of what on how Rakesh does its business, or do you have a contrary view to it?
No, so to your original question as well, how is LTV for a bridge to luxury segment?
Correct.
And our retention rate. So I think there's been a journey in the country back when we started. So we launched in 2016. That was kind of a cusp period when there was a lot of questions within India about adopting Indian homegrown brands. And so at that point, we would face a lot of questions from consumers as to why should I pay a higher price point for an Indian brand.
brand.
And obviously there's the perception that a lot of brands that are actually Indian brands, because of the naming conventions, etc., there's a perception that those are foreign brands.
They are probably manufactured in Bangladesh, etc.
I mean, they are homegrown Indian brands, just named,
John
French
Players
and all
and
that kind of stuff. Exactly. So I think over time, if you look at sort of probably 2018, 19 onwards, there's been a big difference. To now, there is an equal cachet of an Indian brand.
Okay.
In fact, arguably, if you tell your story correctly or well, there is an increased cachet of being Indian over foreign brands.
Okay.
But a lot of it is about how you sort of construct
it and how do you position it.
So, for example, we actually sell a Supima T-shirt for $19.90, which is saying they sell for $8.90. I think you said
I was actually waiting for this to come because the moment he said Supima Cotton, I'm like, he's the king, because I love their brand and I shop from that.
Yeah. I don't know how you were affording to sell it when Supima went through the roof.
Yeah.
Are you still selling it?
I'm not into manufacturing it.
But
Yeah,
Supima is still part of your range?
That is. But I guess it has been limited to a certain segment.
$8.99 would be a killer price for it.
I mean, H&M sells a Supima T-shirt for $8.99.
the volume?
With the volume. So there's a lot of, and of course there's a lot of quality spectrum within Supima as well. So coming back to your question, I think we have seen an increased repeat rate
Okay.
over the years.
Very good.
Part of it, I think, is a trend, a macro trend. Part of it is, the brand having a heritage and a longevity as it builds up. We've actually leveraged, I'd say, a small amount of automation and personalization over the past 12 months.
Okay.
We're seeing sort of a big impact from those. So we have, for
A
example,
positive impact, I'm sure. Yes.
yeah, significantly positive impact, and on various matrices, like where repeat rates are higher, retention rates are higher, open rates are higher, engagement rates are higher. I think the struggle is how do you sort of do this at scale when you are small, self-funded, etc. And how do you integrate it at scale, right? So how do you
With
integrate
your other peripheral systems,
Yeah.
probably even marketplaces to some extent, I don't know.
I mean, so marketplace data capture is obviously an issue, and if you're scraping it, so there's good scraping tools and we do that kind of stuff. But even just on-site experiences, integrating your on-site experience with your CRM experience,
Okay.
integrating that with your customer experience. So if you're able to kind of do that at scale, that's a challenge that we obviously are sort of thinking probably phase 2, phase 3
Awesome.
is where to get to.
And your brand Andaman, what's the split between your online and offline?
So we're not offline. We actually
Excellent.
purely online.
Okay.
Started on our own.
100% online.
100% online.
Beautiful.
We actually were going to do the first store in 2020. Signed the lease. January.
Okay.
Select City Box. Somehow, so I was like, guys, we don't have the bandwidth to pull this off. We want to do a first store very well.
Okay.
Somehow we were able to get them to agree and this had nothing to do with COVID. We just got them to agree that, we don't have, it was supposed to launch in July.
Okay.
So we said we're not going to be able to pull it off correctly. So we sort of walked away from that.
Okay.
And then COVID hit. But yeah, online only. Our website stayed away from all marketplaces for, I'd say, about 6 years. It was a discounting war at that time. That didn't align with our business and brand strategy. And then over the last 1.5, 2 years is when we sort of went into marketplaces.
Okay.
Myntra is shocked as to how we are able to sell.
Without getting listed on a marketplace.
No, how we are able to sell at our
Price
price
point.
points without discounts on Myntra.
Yeah.
So we were averaging about 1% discount on Myntra, which is absurd.
Okay.
And that's not what we also wanted to do. So we're like, okay, let's get back to the drawing board. Why is this happening? Because we are single-digit discounting, but on our own platform it's higher than this, and it's not a business-wise strategy to have such limited discounting. So now we're sort of on the drawing board of what's going wrong and how to increase it. And I guess at some point we'll start personalizing the levels of discounts.
And kind of equate them to how you do it on your website versus how you do it on Myntra.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
going to be my question. So do you have different discounting strategies for
Precisely.
marketplace versus your website?
So it was a bit difficult on Anju because they used to do self-funded couponing a lot. That's come down now. But for us, I guess, as a brand and business strategy, we are very, very particular that there has to be price parity across channels.
Excellent.
You are able to pull that off?
Yeah, so our website's around 75% of the business, around 15% is Nykaa, and then 10% is a split between Myntra, Pernias, Pop-Up and Oman. So our website is 5% more discounting compared to what marketplaces have. That's a premium that we give to the customers because they're shopping from us directly. That's where we get the data, we get to retarget and everything. Marketplaces want the discount to be parallel across all marketplaces. And then the 5% differential cannot be happening between Myntra and Nykaa, but we get to do that on our own website. Also, because they don't form that big a chunk of our revenue, they don't really get to call the shots with us. So we get to decide whatever is, like in the last meeting that we were there were multiple brands. We're only listed on marketplaces, FMCG brands and other upcoming Indian brands. And these marketplaces absolutely drive down discounts with those guys. Like the Myntra discounting that he's talking about. Myntra actually called me into a meeting once there in Bangalore. So Myntra is one of the investors in one of the investors who have invested in our company.
Okay.
So they called me for a meeting.
The Rising Star program or something?
No.
The
So there's this company called Woodland Labs in Bangalore. So they've invested.
Okay.
Yeah. So they called me for a meeting, and the whole presentation that they gave me was where the price point of Myntra is and where we are, and if we want sales on Myntra, this is the discounting that we do.
Has to be significantly
Yeah.
closer to that kind of a price structure or a discounting structure.
Exactly.
So I actually think that personalization would be critical towards exactly what he said. Like when you're on marketplaces, if you have over dependence on them, it's a very dangerous place to be.
I was about to ask
That's
that
where
how
we
do
were.
you... Yeah.
We made that pivot pre-COVID. Around COVID, so I don't know how Ajio pays them. Ajio doesn't pay us at all.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like don't pay on time?
Don't pay.
They don't pay you any component, any share?
So 2020. So I have bills pending from Ajio from 2020. The investors who've invested in my company, all the brands that they have, they still have bills pending from Ajio. It's a constant
That's scary.
mails that's
Precisely, that's quite scary.
Yeah. So Ajio. So one of the reasons we used to say that Ajio gets to give such good discounts because they don't pay their vendors. They can practically sell it for free. Anyway, that's a separate thing. So from 2020, we were heavily dependent on marketplaces. They stopped all payments, had nothing. So I was left with around, and this is when investors weren't there. So I was left with 30,000 rupees of totality and some inventory to sell. Then got back to the drawing board. कुछ करने को था नहीं. For the first time I was free for 6 years. कि कुछ है नहीं. So I went to YouTube channels, learned Facebook, learned scraping data and all of that. Every day put in 10,000 rupees, get 30,000 sales, 10,000 rupees, 30,000 sales. Scaled it up to a certain level where investors were interested in then we sold that. So yeah, so I learned it the hard way that marketplaces should not be.
No, it's very probably music to your ears, but I think personalization, especially for brands in the segment of ours, will actually play a very, other than repeat, retention, CLV, etc., will play a very significant role if you ask me for Anderson, on ensuring that we are not over dependent on
Marketplaces.
And the reason I say so is that at a bridge to luxury price point, the experience matters a lot.
Absolutely.
The shopping experience
Along with the
matters.
quality of the product.
So product, yes, right? But
Definitely.
the product is the same whether you are buying Andaman from its own channel
Or from a marketplace.
Yeah.
In fact, we go to the extent of servicing customers who have product issues or any issues, even if they bought on a marketplace.
Okay. Oh wow, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, which is like very uncommon. So, but I just think that we see a big difference that comes from elevating the shopping experience, and obviously personalization plays a massive role. Both in terms of the shopping experience as well as in terms of the remarketing experience as well as in terms of the brand outreach experience to the consumers.
Okay.
I think it's a longer term journey, however, because there's like level 1 of personalization is just making sure your funnel is waterproof. Level 2 is kind of integration.
Correct.
And so we are, I'd say, kind of in the level 1 journey of things.
Okay. But if, yeah, please go ahead.
Considering going into retail, considering customer experience, because I think, I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong, Rare Rabbit is a competitive field, right?
So Rare Rabbit is actually like a
retail like anything.
Yeah.
And they've been very successful at how they've represented themselves and driving footfall very quickly in prime locations as well. I mean,
But I think Rare Rabbit is also operating offline, if I'm not wrong.
a lot of
But they're completely online.
I think they're going to be crossing 40 stores or 45 stores.
Something.
Yeah, I believe
48, I believe.
48.
48, I think, if I'm correct.
No, so Rare Rabbit is a premium brand. There, I think, in average, for example, the ASP around shirts must be about 2,500. We'll be around 3,900, 4,000 in that category. Also, like discounting strategies come into play.
But the perception is very similar because I've seen your products. The perception in terms of Rare Rabbit, you said Indian homegrown.
So, you know, the perception overlap is a lot because of the homegrown entity.
That's what
Products are a lot more different though.
Yeah.
Well, concepts are different.
Very
Exactly.
different.
Right?
But
But the
we-
price level overlap, yes, but I think.
No, so there's not much of a price level overlap. There's our quality is quite different. Our design ideology is quite different. But I think the constant comparison between Andaman and Rare Rabbit comes because they're both homegrown and achieving a certain scale. Andaman and Nicobar because of the names. But yeah, otherwise quite different.
What do you want to use their case study as a, an idea to go?
I wish
into retail
Santosh
for
was here in this room.
No, so retail without a doubt. I think even for example, because there's a product experience that it's very hard to replicate online when you have higher quality. So we spend a lot. We spend a lot on styling,
Content, styling, merchandising, online digital merchandising.
So we spend a lot on that. And I think consistently we sort of come out with a consistent brand language.
Wow.
That is also differentiated. But ultimately when you see and feel the product, it is different from what you perceive it to be online.
But then I have a question. How do you bring that quotient of differentiation between you and Rare Rabbit? How do you achieve that? Because you both are homegrown.
So I
And
think
both are like bridge to luxury kind of brands. They might be a little luxurious. I mean, Rare
so
Rabbit.
they're premium, we're bridge to luxury.
Yeah.
If you
But that's a difference. But the differentiator. I mean, if I'm looking at
Product differentiation is what you want to talk
correct.
So if you ask me, like, first and foremost in the customer journey, the biggest difference would be in the brand identities. Because, like, if I just break it down, the first thing you get is like those first impressions, which are not coming from anything else but your visuals primarily. The language of the brand. We are also very storytelling driven. So our mascot is the last swimming elephant that existed in the Andaman Islands.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, so back in I think the 60s, 10 elephants were taught how to swim across the ocean so that they could carry logs of wood to the Andaman Islands for construction.
Okay. Okay.
So that's our mascot, something that is homegrown, something that's going beyond, doing the unexpected, swimming in the ocean.
Making you lighter and fly.
Yeah, and consumers actually sort of speak to us. I've always been surprised from inception, consumers would actually read the story on our About Us page. And they'd be like, we love the story, we love the narrative. So there's a lot of storytelling baked in our brand. From every level, from the name of the brand to the products to the collections to everything.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot of differentiation there.
Okay.
Secondly, the design ideologies are very different between Rare Rabbit and us.
Okay.
So for a consumer, the first stage is experiencing the brand differentiation in terms of identity. Second, I'd say, is the design differentiation in terms of product. And then the third difference would be your product quality. And the last difference would be your consumer experience. So that aha moment of when I first receive an Andaman package,
Andaman brand shirt.
the way it is packaged and everything, when I reach out to the customer team.
The last mile delivery and the last mile connect with the consumer is the most important.
And then the after sales connect with the
Obviously, that goes without saying. This brings me to an important question. Jaideep, you are a mass fashion brand. What's your thought on this? How do you measure a CLTV for your brand? Considering you're offering very high quality at a economical price.
So for us, the first challenge came upon, I think that was 2019.
Yeah.
We were using some tools. We had already came out of engagement with Capital and did one engagement with India Awards, and we were struggling there as well.
Okay.
The first challenge was the volume of data. So the volume of data was so high, it was such a big volume that Easy Rewards was not able to process it into AWS. AWS billing was skyrocketing. The personalization we wanted to do was, this particular customer bought jeans, we want to sell him sweatshirts. She has bought leggings, we want to sell her kurtas.
Cool.
Okay? And this was Diwali of, I distinctly remember because it was my startup, which eventually sold out V-Mart.
Okay.
So I was there as a consultant, and Diwali SMSs had to go the next day, and it was 70 lakh customers. And we did not have a AWS account. We did not have a server. I was tasked with this thing that you have to do some sort of personalization of this.
To 7 million pool of customers that you have.
Customers. And at a product level, what they have bought earlier and what they could buy right now and what kind of a discount.
At an SKU level.
Not
SKU, but at
not SKU level, still at a product level.
Product level, yeah.
And send them personalized SMSs.
My goodness.
Okay. So,
it actually sends a chill down my backbone listening to this part.
How many product categories are there? Which
there
can
are
cross-sell?
445 departments.
V-Mart is huge.
Are you talking about V-Mart or something?
V-Mart.
Okay.
V-Mart.
425 departments are there. There are right now.
Overnight. They're like overnight.
So we started in the morning. Around we got to sleep around 11 o'clock.
Of New Year's till Diwali?
No. Diwali.
Diwali.
Next day, Diwali SMSs have to go. And so the first challenge is the volume of data. Okay, when you have to reach to Bharat in the corners, and SMSs particularly because not many people have smartphones. You have to expect that. Now, how do you do that? And how do you reach out to such a volume of customers at the economics? Because if you do this in AWS, it will blow your bill.
Which is very true.
Right? Okay, you cannot do this. Okay. For any company, it's cost prohibitive.
Correct.
So we put together something. First thing I asked for was RAM in the laptop. So we put up some RAM cards, and I asked my engineers to work on something that I was researching upon. And by 9 o'clock, we were able to send those SMSs. Okay. So one was the challenge of volume and at cost. Once we solved that, then it was, then since that time, it has just been the struggle to understand the customer more and more. So since 2019, I have been struggling to understand the customer because at heart I'm an engineer. Did my MBA, but I'm an engineer. So, and MBA also from a finance background, an analytics background. So I don't understand the customer like Rakesh and Siddharth do. They have a storytelling going on for them. But I just don't understand the customer. So I was trying to optimize marketing, but we don't understand the customer. So through this time, one was the CRM program, then there was running V-Mart retail.com,
Okay.
then going on to the marketplaces, Amazon, Myntra, and Flipkart. Then eventually the acquisition of LimeRoad.
Okay.
Through all this journey since 2021, the single most important thing for me is the puzzle of how to optimize this marketing. I thought if we have a marketplace app which can retain the customers, which can help us retain the customers on their smartphones,
Correct.
I just send them, bombard them with notifications, and
My job is done.
my job is done. I'm like, such a smart ass for that.
Correct.
Like, what? But stupidly so, it doesn't work. Okay, even if you have a marketplace app and you have 5 crore customers, and you can send notifications to those people. Okay, let's put cost aside for a moment, because even with the bare metal, it is cost prohibitive. But it just doesn't work. Notifications, reaching out to so many people, so many times, it doesn't work.
Okay.
The only thing which works is reaching out to the customer, and I've seen this across campaigns. Reaching out to the customer when they expect you to reach out to them. And for specifically that thing.
Okay.
You need to understand the
Hyper personalization is what you're looking at. So Siddharth was highlighting hyper personalization. You're going hyper personalization. Is that correct?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there is a time and place for a customer.
Okay. Okay.
there's a time and place of a customer.
How
and
do
there
you
is a
ascertain
place.
this? Or
So-
how did you ascertain that?
It's very simple, actually. Let us assume that you had to go and buy something for yourself when you were coming for this bank. Okay? Possibly you thought that I'll have a solid shirt. Okay? But you specifically thought of this occasion, that's why you went outside, but that's why you went onto a website.
Correct.
We need to understand that.
So
Okay.
you want to
You
understand
need
the
to
buying
understand the live
cycle.
events, you need to understand the live events, you want to understand the seasons, you want to understand the temperatures,
Correct.
you want to understand the regions, you want to understand the travel itineraries, you want to understand what is going on in their family, who's actually buying.
So psychographical and behavioral.
It is just that. How did I arrive upon this particular insight was, among all the campaigns, only one thing was working well. And it was a very small festival. At one that was celebrated around the region in one particular store. Yeah. And it was giving us conversions like 11% conversion on SMS. How's that even possible?
Wow.
Okay. So that is when I realized that it is about reaching out to the customer when they want you to be there.
Okay. And you leverage geofencing for it by any chance? Were you
No,
able-
but it was just a campaign.
Okay,
It
just a
came
mass
upon-
blast.
It came upon this.
Uh-huh.
But I was just doing a simple thing, that who was with us at this time of this year, last year as well. So we were just taking the cohort from the last year and sending them SMSs.
Okay.
And we just figured out when we were understanding this campaign that there is a segment of customers which is doing tremendously well. And we must be geniuses. What did we do? Because if we have to take the credit for it, we should know what.
What is the credit payment taken for?
Just to add on to this thing, I can give you another insight as well that we kind of built up. So when we integrated Unicommerce and marketplaces, this is pre our website going through, we kind of looked at. So we drilled it down to a lot more micro level in the days, hours time. So we understood the kind of design that we were building and the price point that we were operating, and we're not competing with the Libas and Anook and Divas and Jagris of the country. We're building something different. Kapda bhi wo nahi hai, design bhi wo nahi, things are different. So what we figured out was, when are we getting our most orders? Then went to the Myntra's team. Then they gave us an insight which Myntra team already had. So we were only doing women's wear. We just started with you. Huh?
Myntra share that with you.
The insight they shared, not the number. So mathematics भी share करेंगे, behavior share करेंगे, और अगर आपको behavior समझ में आता है ना, whether it is psychology or biology, you can win it. So what Myntra shared with us was, so there are two kinds of revenue shop from Myntra, the professional and home. Home are the ones who look for discount. So our buying patterns, we could see that the maximum amount of buying was happening between 8 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
8 to
8 to 10 a.m.
8 to 10 a.m. Then again we'd see some buying happening between 1 to 2, and then it actually went up around 6 to 10. So they said this very clearly showed that professional women are buying yours, because if this is a housewife, around 8 to 10 is when the kids are going to school and the husband has to be leaving. So they don't buy. Post 10 a.m. till around 1 p.m. they shop. This is when kids come back home and they have to be taken care of, and the tuition and everything needs to be managed. And post 10 p.m. whatever shopping happens is when the husband's taken care of, dinner's done, everything's done, and then shopping happens. So that is an insight that we got at a very micro level. So we could actually build our campaigns around it in terms of Facebook and Instagram, do those kinds, and we actually see a lot more things happening.
So it's actually true. It happens. Time matters a lot because I have. There's a limited data on it. I still exploring it. There are times when customers explode. There are times when they actually buy.
Yeah.
Okay. And they are different. And what you have to do is, when, as you were saying, that you are at the first level of creating a lead to funnel. Okay. It's very important to structure funnels right.
Right.
You have to understand when is customer browsing, when is customer looking, when is it, and what part of
What cohort, what segment of
Yes,
customers are evaluating which particular product?
There is one person in every family who actually does all the online shopping. Okay, and that's usually the kid. Father has to buy something, give it to the kid. Mother has to buy something, give it to the kid. And the kid who's smart enough for it would go onto the websites where they get most promotions, okay, so that they can steal a shirt from there.
Okay.
Okay, it's 200 rupees coupons or something like that. So those kind of insights, you have to really dig deep into the customer behavior and understand what is it that it will trigger. Like, how do you design the promotions? You are saying the discounting strategies. Right? How do you, so for us, I think we were giving a very high discount when we first went online with Amazon, because we were told that it just doesn't function.
It doesn't function.
It doesn't function. Yeah. But it was wrong. It's completely wrong.
There's another, I'm sure you guys would also be experiencing this. Actually, considering the emails you were asking a question, we actually solved one small part of it. It was wish listing engagement.
Yeah.
Women tend to wish list more than men.
A lot more.
A lot more than men.
And it's offline behavior as well. For a store, a woman would visit a 10 stores and kind of have that mental wish list and then pick up the one that they have.
Absolutely.
So
And you tell them if you're running out of it,
Yeah.
or your size is very low. So we did this small pertaining to personalization itself. Just as a fluke, I challenged my team. I said, just send this message that we're going to run out of stock. And I started. We
Yeah,
were
that was-
everywhere. The rush came, women bought it, and sometimes I won't say it's a dirty tactic. but
No, no,
it
no.
is
No, it's a
smart
fair-
tactic.
it's a fair practice.
tactic.
Yeah,
And
it's a
sometimes
fair
you
practice.
you want to put
Fair
something.
warning that's a recent change, right? Dark patterns.
Yeah, but
Right.
still waiting on the
Again,
policy
They have
paper
started to
come out.
emerge.
And because there,
If the policy paper comes out in a way that this happens, they'll have to execute it in the offline segment as well.
absolutely
the
the
offline
barrier
does
as
as
well.
well. Exactly. Till the time the policy paper doesn't come out, it's absolutely fair game, it's all behavior. And also, just to add on this thing, there are multiple levels of kind of content that you send. So we've also classified this. There is, so what you're targeting is behavior. This is behavior of being desperate. Oh, it might
It's
go up.
FOMO basically, fear of missing out.
Exactly, fear of missing
Simple.
out, then discounting behavior, then
Correct.
new introduction, then storytelling. So what kind of a messaging that you're doing in terms of the content that you're sending, and then the tools are obviously, it's WhatsApp, it's SMS, it's email. So
It
what
would
do
have
you
been
intend to achieve?
quite complex for him because you have stores and you also sell online, right? So you I don't know, how do
The
you
logistics
create
would be
that
complicated.
physical world, physical and the digital world,
We have
and
a
solve this
system of-
conundrum?
It's very difficult for
It's
us.
very difficult.
It's very difficult. And
You must be at war with each other. No kidding, we have the same problem. We have 430 stores as well, D2C and e-commerce.
Well, I'm sure even Avinash would also have the same problem.
So you are at war when you pick up the fight.
Huh?
You are at war when you pick up the fight. Yeah, actually. So I don't pick up the fight.
And he especially being the head of e-commerce, if I can say
So
so.
I'll tell you what happened, right? So initially we went into e-commerce quite late as compared to other
Correct.
brands, right? I think in 2015 or 16 is when we launched that.
Correct.
That was the first foray into e-commerce. And we used to believe we slightly late, and we did that by design because the whole discount thing.
But your gestation curve would have been relatively less.
This is purely discount. Initially, when we went online, there's a concern, you know, and back then in the industry as a whole, right, online versus offline. But the way we look at it is, and there's a competition with it, or I don't fight with my within the team with the offline counterpart because the idea that we drive internally is we're complementing the whole business together, right? For us especially, right? It becomes difficult for a brand like Lacoste to open physical stores everywhere, right? So how do we serve the customers where the stores are not there? Right? So
It's more relevant in tier 1, but what about tier 2 and tier 3?
I mean, e-commerce is a tool or is a enabler to be able to do that. And again, for us, marketplaces also enable us. Right? They have a far wider reach or deeper pockets to reach that customer there, where maybe our website will not be able to reach, or may take some more time. Right? I will possibly
When
have.
the question of quality over quantity also does come,
To some extent.
which I was about to put, don't you, as an upcoming brand, don't you get desperate at times as well? Where you would choose the time sometimes, because I know for a fact that Myntra, Ajio, and the others, Flipkart also, they sometimes come up with very ingenious ways to actually loop you in and say, we'll give you better sales. Be it an outright or a commission-based deal.
Though they don't park the revenue share with them, but anyways,
I mean,
these ideas can.
sometimes the numbers being driven away.
Sometimes they won't even pay.
Sometimes they won't even pay. I agree. That is
I mean, I
a
hope
complete
that
shocker.
doesn't
That doesn't happen.
First thing you do is very loud, you get all your.
You might as well not sign an agreement
So
with
Reliance is
them.
famous for
Rakesh.
this historically as well.
Reliance also.
It's company policy. If you worked offline with Reliance, if anybody releases vendor payments on time, that guy is chastised throughout the organization. Massive Reliance fan.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a massive Reliance fan in terms of what they've built and how they've gone about
And how the legacy has
and how
unfolded.
they're kind of getting retail and data on board now. It's a massive fan, but ethical, unethical product.
Most of the big boys have that, Reliance, HUL, all of them.
Yeah.
Because they know that there's such huge,
The
the
bully,
vendor supply, the orders will be so massive,
Exactly.
that 6 months, 1 year, they're willing to wait.
So they'll give you massive sales.
But when they get, they know that order will make up for my next 5 years are done.
So with all these people selling merchandise, how do you fit into this? How do you make people fit into those clothes? Your food is so delicious. How do you make people fit into those clothes? It's because of him that you all, make business. XL, double XL.
I'll give you an insight as to personalizing, who's eating how much,
हाँ.
right? So that you know size M to size L, अभी आने वाला है.
Cross proliferation of data can happen. You can get that data, who are target your t-shirts.
Arrow came out with that extendable pants, no, the stretchable pants.
There's an ad going on.
Flexible.
I am forgetting the name of that brand, and they're like going on television and they're on media, social media, everywhere, Twitter, Insta.
So I'll just quickly share a few
Please,
nuggets of
please, Nila,
what
please,
we do,
go ahead.
because mostly from the apparel industry and the
No, go ahead,
the
go ahead.
food
Take your
and
dick,
everything.
take your dick.
So couple of things, like one is like what the storytelling part, right? Which so the story I think is like the invisible fuel which drives not only business but life, right? Because it's all about the story is something which you remember in the school, college, the theorems and the
Temple of Growth is food.
Huh?
All yours. All yours.
So, yeah. So just coming to the story part of it, if you look at the SMSs, right, and this WhatsApping and this bulk messaging with your consumer base.
Yeah.
So if you look at Swiggy, Zomato, that's one thing I admire to see how well they've customized the messaging they send out. So suppose अगर शाम को बारिश हो रही है, right, you will get a message कि अरे बारिश हो रही है, गरम अदरक की चाय, पकोड़े हो जाए. So the now
wow, a very complimenting.
So like if it's morning, because you get a message from a Zomato saying that आज क्या weekend का क्या plan है, छोले भटूरे हो जाए.
I just got that. I am actually a Zomato Gold customer. I order every day, literally.
Right.
Some of you won't believe it, but yeah, I order every day.
So that's something we picked up from them.
2 times.
2 times, 2 a month. So
Because if you send out a message on a WhatsApp,
they should at least park some part of the revenue with me.
Yes.
So I'm saying the way you send out a message, right? If I just say, Mr. Sharma, this is the number of points you got and blah 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 blah, it becomes very dry and boring. So you have to customize your messaging in such a way that it appeals and entices your consumer to actually saying yeah, either is there or you at different price, time of the day or whenever it is. So it's night and again you look at something, a dessert kind of a thing or something.
This is what we use ChatGPT for as well, to constantly get that.
Is it?
Content out.
Excellent.
That makes a huge difference.
Notification content is
Key.
so important.
Absolutely.
I met head of analytics for Lenscard, and he was saying Piyush himself writes it. Every space he checks before the notification goes out.
Are you serious? Piyush himself gets involved?
Yes, and
Amazing.
I've seen with
Amazing.
many founders with similar scale. I've spoken to the teams that they work with, and all of them have said that they look at the notifications themselves.
Because that's the language of the brand. That's how you talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how you build brand affinity.
Indian brand की तरह बात करूँगा या एक price sensitive brand. Even when I'm offering discounts, I have to make it sure that it's an opportunity that's being given by a brand which is a lot more evolved in terms of the thought process, in terms of the design process. So every collection that we come out with has a story behind it. The last one being the Japanese apps of King Sui and the kamikaze, the waves.
The waves, yeah.
Yeah, so we took it to Banaras. Banaras में जरी वाला काम होता है.
हाँ.
So we got it embroidered into zari and the fabric, and then made garments out of it. So that's the story of the last collection that we did. ऐसे हम लोग every collection we build like this. One was on Cloud Monet's paintings. और color elements from that and motifs from that, and make sure कि यार वो WTSN के साथ ना consistent रहे कि
Correct.
relevant भी है उसके अंदर. So messaging definitely is important. Obviously, I don't have that skill, but yeah, messaging I'm absolutely bang on.
For Misho, Vidit writes the notification himself, and the share of orders from notification on a daily basis is 40%.
Ooh. To the top line?
Yeah.
Wow.
Daily orders is 20%.
Really? Why have you not taken a refill?
No, I don't have it.
Excellent. Welcome to the gang. Welcome to the gang.
I'm actually curious about one question to Mr. Nilab.
Sure.
Sir,
He's bored of biryani, so let him have some
actually,
choice.
since biryani is very synonymous, biryani at the end of the day is very synonymous.
Yeah.
How do you, and being in a tier 1 city, you have biryani by Kilo or other local vendors as well. How do you distinguish yourself? Where does it come down
Sure.
to?
So
That
I
was a
just-
similar question. I
I
just
just-
asked him before this panel started. Go
I
ahead.
just
Go
first
ahead.
add to the point which you saying.
I'm so sorry, I'm actually taking your question.
No, please. I'm absolutely comfortable, Eshaan. Please.
Yeah, so like you mentioned about Piyush writing personalized messages, for the Let's Start consumers. So we in our biryani handis and the boxes we have. So what we've done is because see now it's about 2.5 million biryanis going out every year, right? But possible to handwrite every of them. What we do is we've got a customized messaging on which is printed, but we leave the dear and we leave the Mr. Mrs. The customer name is blank, which is written by the outlet manager, and then the messaging is there, customized. It's very personalized and very deep and kind of empathize with the consumer, thanking them and the gratitude we show to them. And then again we leave one line at the end, which we have we've given them multiple options to the managers at the ground level. So depending on the situation, and we have a lot of data which we have, right? So nowadays, like data and you're automating this customer experience is the main challenge.
And this is your
That's
first party data that you have?
Sorry?
This is your first party data,
First
your
party.
proprietary
Yeah, yeah.
data?
So from our own retail cost, which is .pay, who's our the cost partner. So we have our own and Vista apps, which is where we get all the data from.
Okay.
So the data is there with us, right?
Okay.
The data mining we can do. We have the MIS team gives us. We tell them, and being a decade-old brand, so 10 years, thankfully, we got a lot of loyal base we've created. So, and being the first biryani brand in Delhi, in NCR. So there was no Hyderabadi biryani brand, right?
Correct.
So the Hyderabad dum biryani cuisine came through us.
I know.
So and thankfully people love the taste, the spicy tanginess of it, and they come back to us again and again.
Okay.
So what happens is now this small personalization at the ground level, where on the thank you note we just personalize the name and the message. Now I know that suppose Mr. Sharma has ordered chicken 65 starter from us 100 times over the last quarter. So I can personalize that data which is there I get from my team, and I can put that messaging to him that thank you for ordering
Thank you
this.
for ordering the
Here is
100th biryani
complimentary,
from us.
Thing. So and small things like like on their birthdays, anniversaries, give them a complimentary meal from your side, or just after the bill has happened at that outlet, right? Just give them a thank you note and say around the next visit you get a flat 25% off. Something. These small gestures will go a long way.
Amazing.
In people coming back to you again. Then technology, as we talk about it, so I'd say at ground level, our Connaught Place outlet, it's about an 80-seater restaurant, right? Now,
Well, actually, I want to ask you something.
Servers and waiters, I'll need to serve the
80-seater restaurant.
right? So what we did was simplify the cost and cut down the manpower cost. We simply put up a QR code on every table, right?
Okay.
Now, as a consumer, if you come to a CP outlet, you just scan the QR code. You can browse the menu, choose what you want to order, pay online. Everything is done seamlessly without any manual intervention.
Okay.
Right? So now just a
And
couple
very
of guys.
smartly you are able to capture the data of the
So there is no queuing at
customer.
the counter, no hustle bustle, nothing.
Okay.
So we have 2 floors there. So we just put in a couple of guys on each floor, right? So it saves my manpower cost tremendously. It
Okay.
makes the customer experience or dining experience so much seamless and easy and nice. So and then I'm able to in the bill only. So in the bill also we got an option now where you can customize and give out a thank you message to them. So small
Wow.
things like this go a long way.
You have come down to the minutest of
Yeah, so you have to go deeper
points
and layer
of-
by layer to get to the consumer. Like I said, like what is today Meta and Google doing, right? They have our entire experience, so they actually know more about us than we know about.
Which is
What
very
time we get
true.
up, what we do, what we eat, when we sleep, everything is known to them. Right?
Correct.
That's how they are able to like if I'm talking to you about say buying a property,
I'll immediately get a message as soon as my phone on.
Yeah, I know.
My property.
I know.
Hyper personal.
Hyper personalized.
So it's craziness.
Freaks you out.
I never had a property ad.
I know.
And I was speaking to somebody about, property. Friend of mine wanted to sell his house and buy something in. And obviously phones are next to us. From that day onwards, I'm getting property ads
On your Facebook.
on Facebook.
Facebook, Insta,
everything,
Twitter. Yeah.
in the same price bracket for the location which we were discussing and a 5-mile radius around it. That's it. I don't get any other property ads other than that. So, I mean, it's a crazy level of.
If you ever open a Google Chrome browser on your mobile and you just click you just open a page, the first thing that you see is a list of news. If you ever notice, that is where your entire scraping is done, and you start seeing news about whatever relative property that you're looking at. All right, this also happens. I agree. Hyper personalization has gone to that extent that whatever you are doing online, these likes of these Googles and Metas, they are monitoring every single aspect of your interaction with whatever, whichever brand.
Alexa, I think, and most of you, some of you would have read that the body want to order, so the Alexa is saying, so your suit is in the cupboard, pick up the beige suit. You got a massage at 6 p.m. and you got your wine is here, it's chilled, this, that.
I'm waiting for the time when we're like, Alexa, what do I want right now?
Seriously,
Please tell me.
It knows better than AI and ML and everything. I think
No,
that's
but I'm
good
very
enough.
intrigued. All this sort of experiential aspects that you're doing,
Yeah.
65, chicken 6,500 times, thank you for this, etc.
Right.
Have you been able to sort of trace the impact of it?
Yeah.
Good question.
So see, so I'll answer both you and the question you asked, how we differentiate from the competition, right? So in terms of, so see, what happens is, when you reach out to these consumers, now let's say a supermarket outlet at Gurgaon, which is the first outlet also, right? So we've got the residential, the high rises over there in the villa complexes. We have regular frequent customers visiting, they dine in on weekends or they order from us on the weekdays, right? And so what happens is now the staff knows them, they know us, so that and we have this of data which is there. So now it's become like like a family now. So it's like what weekend day karna hai, so chalo order karte hain. Now when they call us also, the manager knows them कि अच्छा Mr. Purohit ने order किया है, तो उनको veg चाहिए इनको. So he knows actually what he wants. So by default वो बोल देंगे, सर आपको पनीर बिरयानी चाहिए, आपको वेज बिरयानी चाहिए, ये पनीर 65 चाहिए आपको, ये this is what you want, dessert, this is the beverages.
Wow.
So imagine if I am calling, say I am walking to a outlet or a store, say apparel store, say I go to Lacoste, and it tells me that these are shades I bought
Earlier, so we have something complementing to that.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Right? So we've been talking of personalization, and it is the buzzword right now, so to speak, right? Because of data and technology coming in. The level of personalization that used to happen in the offline world, even before data and
Everything
technology
existed.
Right?
Because there was a human touch to it.
Black out with a smile. You have a smile at the end of the day.
I mean, radio wala bhi, right? So, data wala is premium car, the price is.
They'll know who I am and they'll remember, oh, you know what, you came here for that red polo shirt. Oh. Kind of miss that human element to it, huh?
In
Somewhere.
tier 2 towns, they really know how to sell it to you. Actually, going to this point only, so we're, I don't know how many know here, we are actually in Karol Bagh. So Karol Bagh is a very old school place where, khatirdari, as you say, is something that brings that of like, they know exactly, aapne ye try kiya, aap ye bhi try kijiye. And you leave with a smile. You came to buy one thing, you end up buying 3.
But उनको याद होगा, उसको याद होगा. It's true.
That can't be replicated as of right now.
And talking about tech, like the call center which also we have, which is there, right? So now when a customer calls in, so our dashboards are so smart that as soon as I get a call, so the
It intuitively
customer
flashes the
exactly
detail.
knows the his or her data is just right in front of. It's like so actually our executive, he tells the customer, "Ki ma'am, you ordered 10 times you ordered this particular thing, 5 times you ordered this. It's been 3 months you didn't order your favorite dish. So should I order that for you?"
My
like that.
goodness.
Like, oh wow, man, this is great.
This is
So
great.
it's not customer service, it's customer delight actually, which you need to create. That's when they get to that. Yeah, this is the brand I want to go to.
I wish.
Yeah.
mean, you can serve our customers.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is also some part of that we try to build under the 1,000 True Fans program as well. Obviously, we don't have the tech and the money to put in that tech, but what we're doing internally as well is we not only are we doing that in terms of the money and the products that we're buying, but also in terms of the demographics that we can find. For all of these consumers, we're calling them directly, asking them certain questions of a kind of comparative brands that they think we are, the kind of apps they order from, what kind of favorite dishes they have,
Okay.
all of these things. So you can build a certain kind of persona, and once you build that,
You can trace out the paths of their entire buying, purchasing, evaluation process.
Exactly. So once you build that persona, Facebook and Google can take that persona too, and we can leverage that data via speakerphone or whatever, and really gets you really sharp targeting in terms of the new audience that you want to find. New audience is what you say. So
I'll quickly answer on a friend's question about
Please.
how from competition and this thing, right? So one is that biryani as a category is the highest ordered category online and offline as a food category if you talk about.
Is it?
Yeah. So like that's hands down. So no amount of pizza
butter chicken,
or
guys.
burgers
Butter
or
chicken.
South Indian or Chinese other popular categories. It is a headache to the above.
Butter chicken roti guy.
And I'll quote Swiggy's data last year. So one biryani was ordered every second. Or two biryanis were ordered every second. So imagine the millions and millions.
Two type of biryanis ordered every second of the year.
behavior behind it, why it is happening.
Yeah. See, it's very easy. I'll tell you. See, आज अगर आपको घर पे किसी को बुलाना है खाने पे या eat out करने जा रहे हो, right? If you're eating out, you look at the somewhere subconsciously the price point will be there. कि I'm going to spend $1,000, $5,000, whatever on my meal today, right? So that is one. And if you are have to cook a meal, right? Or your wife or whoever is for a house party, right? 10-15 लोग घर पे आ रहे हैं. So biryani is a one pot meal. ठीक है? उसके you just need a raita or something along with that, right? Otherwise you have to make a dal, sabzi, two types of some starters, कुछ और साथ में रहेगा. So there's like 8-10 items का एक proper वो होता है. Biryani is one thing which is such a rich and a legacy kind of a dish you can call. You just have that, and you have just a raita, salad, and a dessert. You're done.
Binge your biryani blues and then go to V-Mart and find a fit for yourself. As simple as that.
Biryani is doing really well because it's Indian fast food. That's what I feel. Because since the childhood we are attuned to having Indian food and pizza and burger eventually suit us really
They have
well.
ruined us to the core, if I may say so.
And I think biryani is doing really well because it serves the taste. It's fast. It's delivered fast. I think. Sorry. Fast delivery is a very important component. Thank you. So very important component, both in apparel and food, especially food. Because there's people who have come at our stores. We ran a program, we called it Happiness Agents in COVID. We started it in COVID.
Okay.
We used to call up customers. We used to tell them that you are not able to come to the store. Why don't you buy online? We started it then it ventured out of COVID, and when the customers were coming in, we used to tell them that this is an endless aisle program, which is if you don't find the size, you order it online.
Wow.
The single problem the customers have, okay, we scaled it from 200 orders a month to 15,000 orders in a month, in a matter of 9 months.
Wow.
Okay, and with only 60 stores serving the other 300 stores.
Absolutely. Leveraging all the concepts of Boko, huh? Buy
But
online,
the
pay
only
online.
problem these guys had who were ordering from the store was I wanted to buy it right now. That is why I'm not ordering online.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
customer who's coming at the store is coming specifically because they want it right now. The instant gratification. And the similar thing is with biryani. If you say that biryani is the highest selling item in India, you also have to
Biryani selling every second.
you have to see that this is also the fastest delivered item on Swiggy.
Not really. Our friend, I don't name them. They take pride in saying that it's a 90-minute is what we take to order. While we have a 10-minute now Blinkit and
You're
all
opening
the
up a
sectors
market
are
for
organized.
Domino's and Pizza
Yeah,
Hut,
so to each to there's nothing right or wrong I think in this. In our case, I think what we differentiate is one is in terms of we maintain the quality, the best quality basmati rice. We get the best marinades from ITC. Our curd raita is from Nestle. So we tied up with the best of the brands, in the food domain as such. And in terms of now suppose for my team I want to order biryani, right? Now the boss gets to order his thing, right? Or if I am a non-veg mutton lover, right? So I'll go for a mutton handi.
Okay.
But in my team, if I have somebody who wants to have a veg biryani, a paneer and chicken biryani, those guys lose out, right? So that's what with the handi concept, there's a limitation to that. What we did was, we are perhaps the only biryani brand where we have customization in our offering of packaging which we give. So we got a mini, we got a solo, we got a serves 1, serves 2, and then we have the half kg, 1 kg, 2 kg biryani handis. Okay. We have the entire spectrum. So, and the back end logistics and the value chain has been created for that. So that is something which nobody can replicate overnight. It will take a long time. So that is one thing. So we are a affordable value for money brand which gives you a very good quality.
We are a mass market biryani.
Yeah, but see,
we offer quality at a.
They will look at, we are all in the business of creating value for our consumers. So if you can create value at a price point which he or she feels that हाँ boss खा के मजा आया and it didn't pinch your pocket too much also और एक अच्छा 10 टका ने
buying on. That's where you make your customer.
Another point I'd like to say is that also to add on to why there is right, and I can relate to it with the spot is ease of decision making.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You said you order from Zomato once or twice every day.
How much time you spend deciding what you want to order?
No, I mean it could vary anything between 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
See today Starbucks, pride in saying that we have so many hundreds of coffees, like from Americanos to our mojitos and to cappuccinos and everything. Today that's become a impediment for them. But consumer at the counter is confused and latte, this side, that side, this is there. So many, there are a million combinations you can play with. So by the time you think your coffee is already gone and cold and dead.
In fact,
So
actually,
you have to simplify it for
works for us as well as a brand. In fact, Eshaan saying women wish list more than men, right? Men are easier shopping. But women take more time to decide
Yeah.
shoes, right? Think it was. You bought from Lacoste, right? You know your size. You can very easily come into the store, walk out and find.
Provided you have not been to Biryani Blues before that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Don't eat too much of biryani, then yeah,
easy for you.
Size,
Uh,
pick a color. Do that.
okay, excellent.
Easy as that, right? So that's where a lot of value also comes. For us, a customer can call up a store and say, "ये color है तो या मेरे size में कौन से color?"
And then you directly ship it home. Wow.
The store exactly like personalization is there, right? They know the customers. That's extreme customer loyalty.
Exactly.
It's very simple. So what new colors you've got? That's it. That's the question.
I'm sure.
So this is not leveraging technology so to speak.
And I'm sure they are fulfilling from the stores. The order would be online, but fulfillment would be from the stores.
That these stores guys handle. So the customers who are the executives know the customer knows the color of the store. Tell me what
Online order. Online order, do you fulfill from the store?
not yet.
Oh, not yet?
Not yet.
And why?
Honestly, and this is my
Uh-huh.
opinion, omni-channel probably before AI.
Actually, online sales is attributed to him. Offline sales is attributed to his counterpart. So he will not do that. Huh? Anyways,
So I'm just dating the revenue.
what's his KRA?
We started from 40 stores, fulfilled from 40 stores in 2019 pre-COVID. Now we are at 430 stores. Fulfilling all 430 stores are fulfilling online. All improvement necessary.
Wow.
Number two, necessary in terms of the store, leveraging all the services. No, we have an OMS.
Order management
We
system.
are right now, actually that's the problem. We are down from 4, but we are still running 3 OMS.
Some stores we run a let's say don't ship for online orders, don't ship from stores. But for stores, we allow them to be able to order
Order it and
It's not at the store.
okay.
चैनल 5 साल से ओनली
2 years back, Omni was the buzzword. Now personalization, AI, right? Now, how many brands have actually, and this is how I feel about it, have actually leveraged Omni to the way it was supposed to be? It has now, right now, is limited to online orders being dispatched from stores. That's it, right? Stores have become fulfillment centers.
Correct.
They're not really omni-channel builders. Only few brands have done it well, but it's just fulfillment stores. Marketplace के orders store से जा रहे हैं, saves on your cost of delivery, saves on time of delivery, that's it.
In fact,
What?
please.
What we try to avoid there, now stores will have limited space and depth of inventory available.
Precisely.
Right? So if you start, and online orders can also be fulfilled from your warehouse. Right? If you start fulfilling that from store and have less
CapEx
inventory
increases.
there, there's a lot of opportunity in the store because your size is tight breaking, right? Because also it takes more time to replenish that stock. But it takes some more time to do that. Right? So you have to be able to manage all that without
Very excellent perspective.
That's what I mean.
It's become a hybrid model nowadays. You have to open a very few flagship outlets at the key addresses and key pin code across the metro cities or the tier 2, 3, and mainly have a in food business called cloud kitchens, and it would be the e-commerce part. Because see, even banks for that matter, you see so many branches are closing down now. So huge cost, right?
Correct.
Cost of real estate, manpower, AC, this,
They're reducing their CapEx basically.
why do they want it? Actually, foolish to do that. So nowadays, I believe our ATMs are going to be so self-sufficient now that they will become like a mini bank. So need not go. Banks don't want you to come to.
No, people have gone online.
From a
mobile.
For ATMs now, right? Everything is happening online. You have your net banking, mobile banking, so you don't. And banks discourage you to come. You find people they actually not just smile on greet you. They greet you with a why are you here?
If you see what has happened with State Bank, they used to have such a big,
Building.
They have literally come to the size of a room.
The government banks have cut down.
Government banks have cut down. Nationalized banks have cut down.
So at the output level, you only need to have a select portfolio which you to showcase to the end consumer. If they really like it, then they can go online or they can they can order customers.
I want to jump in on this thing and ask you about this thing. I had an idea. Please let me know where my gaps are. Opening up an offline store, having all the inventory there, but having only one size available in everything. So, one piece available in every size. So, what if somebody from an extra small to double XL comes in, they get to try their size. Anybody who buys offline as well is not going to use the fashion product right away. They're obviously buying it for a certain point. They're already wearing clothes, so they don't just want to change it. But obviously, there are some customers who come in the extremes of the spectrum who want to buy that product right away. Right?
More of an impulse buy.
Exactly. So my idea was to have that big massive screens that you have where you can shop online, keep discounts there, get it fulfilled through a local fulfillment center. Wherever you have a store, you'll have a fulfillment center as well. The fulfillment center fulfills it within 12 hours. With this hyper deliveries through, I wouldn't say V-Fast because V-Fast is still not that big right now, but something like the Blitz is right now. Grow Simply does hyper local deliveries in Delhi NCR and do that delivery. So any customer who's leaving from your store is leaving without a bag or any of the physical things. So you show them that you're not really carrying anything with you, and by the time they reach home and they're doing their things, within 6 hour period, the product is delivered to them. What this enables is the store physically, as you rightly said, has to keep all that inventory, doesn't get to keep all that inventory. Your inventory is in a warehouse that can be efficiently managed. Not only do you save on packaging cost, you save on space as well, and you get to display a lot more products. Do you think the consumer behavior would be acceptable to that?
I was just waiting for you to actually ask the key question, and I think you have answered your question yourself. It's a beautiful idea. I also feel that this is where the economics should be. It's a beautiful idea. But the point is, the idea doesn't work. What works is customer behavior. Okay, so the real cost of business or e-commerce or omni-channel or whatever on a new brand is actually educating the customer. So if you have them, go for it.
But then
more of an experience store than a retail store.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about is having only experience stores and not a retail store.
From a buyer point of view, I think it's great. But then, sorry. what you also want to do, someone walking into a physical store also wants that experience, and the feeling of walking out of a store with a shopping bag is completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
So that sense of instant gratification
is
something
that
is also being able to
Yeah,
know. One question: should we do cash on delivery or not? I thought when people said no, they want to capture their intent. You know what will happen is customer orders in the store, walks out of the store, goes to the next store, shops
with the Lacoste
you
tag,
deliver
which
it,
looks like
then comes back to you,
Yeah.
right? Because that instant gratification is already happening. Right? So you also want to capture that intent right away. A lot of customers come and say, "Don't you talk about
Yeah.
Don't you think this is a high
इसी का कोई differentiation क्या है?
I think this is
We can buy
extremely
it
good idea.
at the
It's
cost.
It's a
Online
how
they
it's
have-
experience. It's a pure experience
You
show.
really want to look at the price and really क्या price is. So people who want that deal can shop
that
online.
you're not able to account for in
If
this
20% shop offline and then like a repetition try to.
in your response to him is marketing.
brand.
Marketing.
Brand you
Uh,
have
in
different
digital world, you are actually marketing.
So,
But
yeah.
in the physical world, you are not marketing. Let's just present. Distribution is better than marketing.
So
Isn't it high capex?
It is, but it's still better.
instead of 5,000 square foot space outlet and having 100 outlets of that size, you have a 1,000 square foot का space. Because the maximum is your storage space we are using it. Or even if you're using as a experiential, giving a lot of free space in the designing of the outlet, it's not required actually.
So we
just have a
we
basic
don't
experience
make
store.
money online, but we make money on the physical stores. I think that's very common.
And you can actually order right
Slightly
there.
more profitable for a lot of people.
You go to a KFC, McDonald's, they have this self-ordering kiosk nowadays. So they're cutting out that.
Which is true.
What's also
digital.
So food where you do it for, I come into an experience store at say at an ambience store. I see the color I like. I try out the state, try out room. It fits my size. And वहीं पे आपने kiosk लगा दो वहाँ पे experience kiosk. So I just go order my size, my color what I want, pay online, and by the time I reach home or by the night morning अगर मैं ambience में गया हूँ, रात तक मुझे आ जाएगा. Next day early morning I get the
Less effort of carrying the package and getting
so for
stuff delivered.
the brand, he saves huge amount of cost on rentals and storage space, right? And he gets it shipped. So now the logistics have become so good. So just have small this thing experience stores and have your backend ready and just ship it to the customer.
Yeah, but that is what you talked about, and he correctly pointed out, like the instant gratification part of it, and coming out of the store, holding a bag and rolling around in the market. If it's so, obviously the brands a lot more digital luxury or luxury, you wouldn't really want.